Hello, everyone. Verena back here. Yeah, I am coming online to share about what has shifted for me this week because there have been so many small and bigger shifts and insights, and one of them also was for me to be more vulnerable, to share more in real time what's happening for me, because that is, first of all, I think that is what the world needs. We need more honest, real conversations instead of, the perfectly curated stuff. But then also because, for example, the mentors that I work with, they are very vulnerable, and I love that because it just helps me learn from them. And I think vulnerability is something I'm here to learn. And it's something I have struggled with and I'm still struggling with. And I mean, there is always another level to it. So, yeah. But let me start in the beginning. And again, one more thing, one intention. So my intention, again, as always, I share my story for you to see yourself in this. So I am the mirror for you, so that you can see where are you doing this in your own life. And then hopefully this is an invitation for you to shift things. Okay, so first things first. The first shift that happened this week. I was actually really sick. I was down with a fever, lying in bed, and I couldn't do anything. But actually, I slept most of the time. But then there were like a couple of hours where I could listen to things with my eyes closed. And usually, I would get super frustrated when I get sick. I mean, not when I was just employed and you could just stay home, because to be quite fair, I was never so much into my job that I felt like I was missing out when I was sick. But when I started doing my own things, right? So I mean, I've been doing coaching and free events already since a couple of years, and oftentimes I would get sick and I would have to postpone things, or then also I would get sick and I would miss out on things that happen in my private life, right? Where I could not go to a wedding, for example. I missed out on a wedding once, or these things. I would get super frustrated and annoyed. And so this week when I got sick, I first also was really frustrated. Because I mean, I had spent 4 days at the Kundalini Yoga teacher training as a volunteer. So last week, Thursday to Sunday, and I came back and basically was sick from Tuesday. I was like, oh no, I've already, not been able to work for so many days. And then I was like, okay, let's just accept it. Let's move into acceptance. The frustration doesn't lead anywhere. And then the interesting thing, I started listening to some calls from some mentorship containers that I'm in that I probably otherwise would not have listened to. So these were recordings of the past. And I was like, okay, I mean, I might as well just listen to something now. And yeah, that these calls really brought up so many realizations and new ideas. And this whole situation, like, and now I'm really grateful that I was sick, because I feel like it has initiated a real shift in the way I see things, in the way I've been operating over the past months, and what I want to and need to shift that I otherwise would not have gotten, or at least not at this point. I'm pretty sure if I would have been sick, I probably just, would have gone back into execution modus. Yeah, because I have some stuff on my to-do list, like creating a freebie, creating like another small activation, and I probably just would have executed. And now, through this forced stillness, I had time to reflect, and it was so much more valuable than just keeping executing. And it really healed like another part of this employee conditioning, right? Where we think, oh, okay, if I'm not on my laptop, if I'm not doing stuff, I'm not valuable, I'm not productive. And it's always, we're so trained that only execution is valuable, but it's not. It's really like this downtime, this reflection, this stillness, taking a step back, reflecting on what feels good, what doesn't, what has worked, what doesn't. I think we are so trained to move past these very strategic things. And then also, you don't have to do that stuff in the laptop, and you probably don't do your best strategic thinking and reflection work when you're at the laptop. So it's really so important to allow yourself to, okay, be sick. But then it could be other things. It can be walks. It can be, oh, I also had a really good impulse when I was meditating today or practicing yoga, right? These moments where we are not in this thinking mode, yeah, and then the impulses come. And for me, when I was still employed, I always thought I was the most uncreative person on this planet because I had no ideas. I was like, oh my gosh, if I knew what else to do, I would do it. But there was nothing. I couldn't even think of anything that, you know, I could do or create. Or yeah, for me that was really just work, and then you just chill. Yeah. And then when I got out of this employment, and it was a couple of months, I was just doing nothing. But then also during later when I was self-employed and I had more time for myself, I like the ideas just came flooding in. So creativity, innovation really come from slowing down, from stillness, from space, and not constantly doing. So that was the one thing. Then what I also realized is, I mean, I always knew, so AI was also kind of a mask for me, because it's super easy, you know, to be visible with that topic, because you're not really showing, I mean, yes, your personality flavors in, but it's not like you're really showing who you are on a very deep level. So it was always easy for me to be visible and talking about tech topics, because it's kind of like a mask. And you hide behind, I hide behind knowledge, I hide behind expertise, behind competence. And I think this is what we're taught to do, right? That's also why so many of us, we want to be perfect, and we want, because we don't want to be vulnerable, and we don't want to give people some way to, you know, criticize us. And I knew I was doing that on AI, but even in this new business, I've been doing that. So I've been reflecting on the kind of content I'm producing, also on the 2 masterclasses I give. And yes, there is vulnerability sprinkled in there, but I want to do that even more. I want to lead more from emotion, vulnerability, openness, instead of now again explaining concepts. Yeah. And I mean, co-creation with the divine is then, for example, some of the concepts that I was then just explaining. And yeah, also really sharing my process more openly, even the things that I'm going through in real time. And I'm gonna do part of it here in this format. I'm gonna do part of it in my email list, in my Instagram. But I've also decided to open up a Telegram channel, because I mean, there's some things that I don't just want to put out in the open for everyone to access. I feel like there's certain things, when I'm processing these, when I'm going through these, I would have like a intimate community, people that I can trust. And then this also helps me in then being more vulnerable and opening up even more when I know it's not completely out in the open. And I think it's not about oversharing, and it is really about being intentional about what you share where, but then of course it's not about building walls. So if you want to be part of that group, send me a message. But yeah, and how I came also to this realization was because I was on a podcast, and it was called Raw and Real Podcast. And what I really liked is there was really nothing. There was no questions. There was no introduction. We didn't have a check-in before. We basically said, hi, let's hit record. And it was so freeing. I mean, how much time and energy and effort do we put into being perfectly prepared and rehearsing things and just to come across as competent and we're really trying to control our perception all the time. And that takes so much effort, it takes so much energy, and at the same time it really blocks true, authentic, honest conversation. Because we can feel if the other person is wearing a mask, if they're reading out a script, or if they're really, really open. And I think, again, what we need in this world is more open, honest connection, not polished social media content. And this also brings me to the next shift or realization, and also a bit of a confession I gotta make. So I myself got caught up in operating from this too strategic marketing ideology that's out there, right? I got a bit too caught up in trying to figure out what is the right thing to say, and then also really lost the spark. I could feel like there was a dullness coming in. I didn't really want to produce content anymore, and also sometimes I was doing videos, and then I would really kind of have a script. And because, I mean, in the very beginning, when I did the 21-day life challenge, I didn't have a script. I just had bullet points. But then sometimes I felt like the red thread was missing, and I felt like it was maybe too unstructured. And then I got into preparing the videos more and what I was going to say and building a better arc and all this kind of stuff. And but then I think also what happened is then you focus too much on saying the perfect thing, and then again there is not the space for connection. You're not open because your field is closed, because you're focused on saying the right thing, you're focused on reading the script while not make it sound like you're reading it, while still trying to make it sound natural, and then your field is closed. You can't be open. You're not flowing freely. You're not really guided by your intuition, which is what I talk about a lot. You're not really guided by self-trust. And I got a bit too dragged into that direction, which now I want to stop, and I want to bring more flow and intuition and connection back. So also I feel like it's been very much broadcasting, and I just want to have a conversation again. Like, it was so nice to be on this podcast the other day. Mainly because I got something back. There was a conversation happening. So that was really beautiful. And I just want to be more connected to you. And this is not, I think I talked about it before, but the way I see mentorship and the way I love also working with mentors is not and again, it's not like they say it that way. It is an energetic thing. It is really, how do you see yourself and how do you see others? And this, we can sense that on some level. And what I don't like mentorship to be is this hierarchy, where there's this one person who knows best, and then there's the others who just learn. Because we can always learn from each other, and there's things you can learn from me, there's things I can learn from you. And the more we see it as a way of walking together and shoulder by shoulder on the same level, think the more beneficial it is. And this is also why I want there to be a conversation. And I think also what I realized is, I mean, I have things coming in and inspirations and things I realize about myself, but of course, if I talk to people, there is much more things that I can also respond to. And it's not just me in my own energy all the time, which is an important part of it. But so that was shifting away from scripts, allowing myself again to just have an idea in mind and talk about it, even if that then sometimes is not super streamlined. But it also feels more fun to me, and I hope that you enjoy that kind of conversation more too. Yeah, and if you feel like, you want to have a conversation and you feel like you are at a stage in your life where you want to build something that feels truer, that feels more fulfilling, that feels more intuitive, that feels more like you, I'm happy, to have a conversation. I would love to have a conversation. Actually, I'm opening up listening sessions because I want to build this really from a space of listening, understanding deeply what is going on for other women. I mean, for other women that I feel called to serve. I do think that, my story is just an example of what many women are feeling and have been going through. But of course, everyone is different, and I would love to understand more deeply what it is for you. And my intention for these sessions is really that you walk away with the feeling of being deeply seen, a greater sense of clarity, and a deeper understanding of yourself. So yeah, I have a booking link, so you can just book a session. It's for free. You can just book a session that works for you. If you're interested, send me a message and I'll share that with you. And I think those were the things I wanted to echo. Being more vulnerable, walking away even more from employee mindset that only when you're at your desk in front of your computer, the things you do are valuable, and creating connection. Yeah. And yeah, again, I'm sharing this to see where are you doing these patterns in your life? Where are these patterns showing up in your life? So are you hiding behind knowledge and expertise, or do you let people into who you really are beneath this mask? Who are you as a human? What is your essence? Do you let people in on that? Or do you hide behind knowledge, expertise, and looking competent? And then also, where do you tell yourself the story of I need to be constantly productive and everything that I'm not doing at my desk, at my laptop is not valuable? And then, where are you? Oh yeah, there was one more thing I want to share. I knew I was missing something. Oh, and actually this is also an important thing I wanted to share. And this is also like such a good reminder that now the work I'm doing, it is so different from I did before. So before it was, you learn something, you grasp something intellectually, you learn a skill, and then you just execute. And now it's much more about embodying the work that I do and embodying the values and the concepts I stand for. And what I talk about a lot is divine led. And what that really means is following your intuition, following the impulses you get, And this eventually is really self-trust. And self-trust is a topic for me. I've also been working on a long time, and I think it comes, of course, always in a new level, right? But self-trust is something that I have built a lot, and there's still, I think, a lot for me to build. And the other, actually, there was a big decision for my life and for my business. And I saw this program, and I was like, oh my God, like this is exactly what I want to work on right now. This is exactly what would propel me forward. And I would read the program, and I really got this feeling in my body, like this chills, and this is what I mean when I say the body knows. And it is, and I'm a splenic projector. I don't know if you're familiar with human design, but anyway, in my specific human design, that means exactly that I get these hits in my body, and this is what tells me what to do. This is the divine guidance, basically. But then always, my head, my mind, because I'm so used to making decisions from the head, from the mind. We all are, right? Or coming out of this work environment, I go into over-analyzing and pros and cons, and does it make sense from the money side? I just launched my business, I should not spend so much money, but I should hold the money together. And I could really see myself getting this hit, and then the mind coming in, and then I was trying to convince myself with my head to stay in a safe zone, which is not making that investment, and just not spending the money. And this is exactly what I mean when I mean divine led. Then trusting that hit, trusting that your soul, your higher self is guiding you, and doing it anyway, even though the mind tells you not to. At least in this situation. And of course there needs to be some discernment, right? You need to be able to learn a bit, like what is this soul hit, what is this divine guidance hit, versus what is just, oh, I'd love to have that thing, let me just buy it. And if you have the money, nothing's wrong with it, but in my situation, obviously I need to be a bit more discerning in terms of what is really getting my soul journey forward, what is moving my soul journey forward, what is not. And I'm not saying that, sometimes also buying things can move your soul journey forward. Actually, I've been doing this thing called manifestation shopping with a friend of mine, because I've shared before that I was very much stuck in scarcity. And I was not spending any money, and I really had this rejection and aversion towards luxury things, because I always thought it as wasteful, and who needs that, and even like almost resentful towards people who buy that stuff. So to heal that in me, and because whenever we get, this is just being triggered, right? When you have this strong sense of rejection. I'm not saying you have to do it, but at least, letting other people do what they want to do. So we did this manifestation shopping where we went into luxury stores, and we just showed up like we owned the place or belonged to the place. And it was hard in the beginning. Like I felt so out of place. And we just, would get some consultation. We would have some free champagne. And I felt really out of place the first time. But then it's so interesting. I just did it like 2 or 3, 4 times. And it got so much easier already. Like insane. It was really, really insane. At some point, the saleswoman offered me to try on a 168K diamond ring. It's just insane. I would ever buy that thing, but but anyway, so it was a very healing experience. I honestly did buy an expensive piece of jewelry. I mean, of course not in that kind of range, but you know, way above what I thought I would ever spend on a piece of jewelry, to heal my scarcity mindset, and it helped. So again, it's really discerning, is this healing something in me? Is this bringing me on another level in some kind? Or is it what I call more blind consumption? Yeah, and it's also really interesting to learn that. And one thing to close, because it came up again during the weekend, and I heard it before, where another mentor, I mean, I'm not really working with her, was like one of her low tier offers, and she says she doesn't say expensive anymore, she just says expansive. And sometimes it can really be expansive if you do expensive things. Not all the time, not everything, it's not the only thing you gotta do. But if it's something that you're never doing, and that you're kind of completely rejecting and cutting out as an option, it can be very expansive to do that. All right, I enjoyed this conversation so much more. I hope you did too. I would love to hear your thoughts, your comments. What did this bring up in you? What resonated? What didn't? Maybe even some kind of shift that you want to make that spark that in you. I would really, I just really appreciate if you send me comments, if you send me what resonated. And I just hope to see you here next time. Sending you love and light.